Hello, everyone. I'm back once again with another guest, and today here in this podcast, I have a Master Ninja Ryu that you have probably heard about. He's one of the very good Nioh players, Ninja Gaiden players, and many other Team Ninja games. So, welcome on in. How are you doing, Master Ninja Ryu?
Hey, dude. Thanks for having me here. Yeah, I'm okay. I hope you're doing good as well.
Yeah, everything is good. So, could you please tell me and the people, or should I say listeners, what keeps you playing Neo 2? So, why do you play Neo 2? What is your story about Neo 2? How everything started? Or Neo 1, I
Eh,
mean, Neo series in general. That's what I meant.
yeah. I mean, it all starts from Ninja Gaiden, as you could guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a long fan of Ninja Gaiden. I started to love action games thanks to Ninja Gaiden because that series is really particular and has a special place in my heart. So yeah, I enjoyed a lot Ninja Gaiden, and when of course the new Team Ninja game came out, and it was made by the same developers as Ninja Gaiden, I was like, okay, I got to try this game, and well, I had a blast because Nioh is really a masterpiece. Really, the combat system is super good. It's super deep and technical, just as Ninja Gaiden, and that's why I love it so much.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I know that you actually a big fan of the Ninja Gaiden, even though I'm not myself, but yeah, I definitely understand and I'm actually glad to see that. So, could you tell me, since you play Ninja Gaiden, so when the Neo was first released, what was your thoughts about that game? So, did you like so to say, that next move they did, or actually you preferred Ninja Gaiden way of the game in terms of how the game work?
I personally love both of them. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy so much Ninja Gaiden and Neo because they are similar in some aspect, but also they are very different. They focus on different aspects because the combat in Ninja Gaiden is more dynamic. Ryu is more agile. You can do some stuff, aerial stuff, and the movement is really something. In Nioh, you're a samurai, not a ninja, so of course the movement is different. But okay, it's really super fast paced as well, and it's as deep as technical as Ninja Gaiden. But they are different in some aspect, and also Neo, you have to consider the stamina management. That of course you can. When you master the combat, the stamina gets almost infinite. So yeah, it's something different. But you have to consider all of these while playing, and some other aspect where, of course, you are not a ninja, you are a samurai, and this is a different vision. So yeah, personally, I love both of them, and they are just different tastes and experience. So that's it.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I understand. I understand. Actually, that's quite interesting. And then you're right, absolutely. Ninja Gaiden, you are actually a ninja, and yeah, and the overall movement is actually much faster. You are much more agile, and then you don't need a stamina bar. And in a Neo, you are a samurai, and you're right. That's different. For example, I really like the change and the thing they actually made. I mean, change the thing, the new IP they actually developed because that
Yeah.
was legit a whole new IP of the game that I have. So could you tell me when it get to Neo 1 and Neo 2, which one you like most and why? So what are the pros and cons in your opinion from both of these games?
Personally, I prefer Nioh 2 because the combat has more to offer. I love both of them, but yeah, I personally prefer Nioh 2 because more combos, more touches, more in the combat. That adds really another layer during where you can have some fun with the combos, the style, and stuff like that. And also, I like that bosses have more HP, so the fights are longer and you can enjoy them. And it's a different flavor compared to Neo 1, where it's most where bosses have less HP, but also they do more damage. So it's a strange particular. And Nioh 2, I think, gives you more freedom for having some fun with the combat and enjoy the fight more instead of just being more like. I mean, Nioh 1 was the first game that came out of this series. So I think Team Ninja did some experiments, like for example the dual boss fights that in the Nioh 2 they got removed. Outside of some couple of exceptions, but yeah, pretty much. And that's why I think Nioh 2 uh, polished more the formula of Neo 1 by adding some stuff. And yeah, personally, I think that Neo 1 is really a great game, and Neo 2 is perfection.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. And then if we get Neo 3, that will be actually something about perfection. And I don't know
Yeah.
how that's called. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually quite nice. Actually, I do like the thoughts that you had actually over that and how you explain it. So that was pretty nice. So, from your perspective, do you what is your favorite weapon? So, can you just tell us more? Like I actually I can guess maybe katana because you played Rio as Rio a lot. I mean Ninja Gaiden. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong. So yeah, I could say so.
I love the katana, but my favorite weapon is the kusarigama
Mm-hmm.
because I love it in Ninja Gaiden as well.
Yeah, of
I
course.
got
Yeah.
yeah, I got in love with that weapon in Ninja Gaiden because it feels so good having a weapon with a chain and a sickle, and you can have some fun on using both of them. The combos with the chain, the combo with the weight on the other side of the weapon. Also, it's a quite particular weapon because it's a long range weapon where you can reach enemies a little far away, and you can have some fun also on doing grapples and
Okay. Yeah.
studying with some stuff like that. And so yeah, I got in love with that weapon in the Ninja Gaiden, but of course it's a situational weapon, so sometimes it feels really good and it's really useful. Sometimes I will just prefer pick my katana like in Ninja Gaiden. So
Yeah.
pretty much those two are my two favorite weapons that
Mm-hmm.
I personally prefer. But I love so much also the Tonfa because it's really super fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a fast weapon, and also the thing that you can cancel everything gives you more freedom on being more aggressive and having some fun instead of just being less defensive and wait in a wise way for the next attack to punish.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. When you talk about Kusarigama, like I would just like to add one more thing. Yeah, Kusarigama is pretty nice weapon, but I mean, that's my opinion. Again, it lack on tracking. So tracking,
Yeah,
it's horrible. The other day I tried to fight the Saito Yoshimitsu with Kusa. Kusa doesn't track at all. Tonfa has amazing tracking, but Katana has also good tracking, but Kusarigama has just horrific tracking. Like you cannot track him down because, especially because he is moving too fast, he's dodging too far, and he's jumping around like a monkey. And you cannot catch him with Kusarigama, unfortunately. And Kusarigama, and I think maybe I'm mistaken, but I think in Ninja Gaiden Kusarigama was much better in terms of the
yeah,
tracking
absolutely.
than in Nioh. That's why I don't understand. For example, Fist has amazing tracking. Like there is no like speaking against it. But Kusarigama really needs work. Even in Nioh 1, it was the same issue, and Nioh 2 is still present. I'm not sure why is that, but hopefully, if we see Nioh 3, that they actually fix that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. As a Kusarigama lover, I know that that weapon has some issues, like the tracking you're talking about. Also, yeah, you have to deal with that speed because some moves can be quite fast. Some of them are really super slow, so
Yeah,
it
yeah,
depends. And I would prefer having a little more moves because katana has a lot of combos, dual stomp. They have a lot of combos. I think that Kusarigama, like also the axes, they have really less moves compared to other weapons. For example, I would add a couple of more combos to those weapons. But I enjoy it anyway, and it's a fun weapon anyway. So
Yeah, could you tell me about the other weapons? So, do you like any other weapons except Katana Tonfa and Kusarigama? Did you play with
yes,
them? Hmm?
I played pretty much with every weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy pretty much all of them. This is actually my top three, but I enjoy also other weapons. I love the duels. I enjoy a lot the bow, the stuff. The techos are really fun, super strong, but also they are really super fun. Can't lie. Tekos is just a weapon that you feel like, okay, this weapon is super strong, probably the strongest weapon of the game. But when you use it, it's really fun because you can do a lot of cool stuff with
Yeah.
the Tekos. So you don't feel even bad by playing it because you're actually having so much fun with that weapon. So yeah. Um, so yeah, I love also duals, lunar. I enjoy a little less the X because it's quite slow. I prefer faster weapons. But it's fun. Sometimes when I use the axe, I have fun because you feel the power. What I think Team Ninja really deliver really good is the feeling of the power when you use big weapons like the axe, like the great sword in
Yes.
Ninja Gaiden, and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's true. And actually, speaking of the great sword, I mean that's another candidate for a new weapon in in Neo 3, I would say, like because the great sword is it's just yet another weapon that we never had actually in Neo. We had it in Rise of the
yeah, yeah,
Ronin. It was actually quite nice in Rise of the Ronin, not gonna lie. I mean, there are plenty of the weapons that we have seen and so many skills that we have seen in Rise of the Ronin that could be quite interesting when you implement them on a Neo base. What I mean by Neo base is like Neo combat base with a key pulse mechanic and all that stuff. So I would like actually to see that in action.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So to move on to the next question, which is what are your favorite enemies and your favorite bosses, like human bosses and yokai bosses, like across Neo 1, Neo 2, you can say
Okay,
for each of these games separate. It's so
okay.
who are they? Hmm? Okay.
My favorite enemy, um, it's really hard to pick just classic enemies because I pretty much enjoy all of them. Probably I have some fun, more fun with the humans because you can have some fun with doing parties and toy with them. But yeah, I enjoy also yokais uh, yeah. Personally, I would pick some classic samurais or ninjas as normal enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite bosses are absolutely. I know it's quite, but okay. It's Hayabusa in Nioh 1
Oh,
Jin
okay.
Hayabusa.
Yeah,
I love that
interesting.
boss fight so much. It feels so good. I mean, of course, I'm a Ninja Gaiden fan, so when I see this big Easter egg to Ninja Gaiden, first time I saw it, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, that fight is so good. Also, when you defeat him, you have the classic music of the old Ninja Gaiden games, Unbreakable Determination.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's great actually. That's quite a nice thing. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Also, they put my favorite blue costume on that fight, and so I was like, oh wow. So yeah, Jin Hayabusa is really an amazing boss fight that I love it so much, and I can't stop loving it. Every time I fight it, I like, okay, this fight is so good and super fun. Same on Nioh 2, I enjoyed so much also Ren Hayabusa.
Mm-hmm.
It's an evolution of Jin Hayabusa fight with, of course, the Nioh 2 new mechanics like the burst counter and other stuff. And I find it really fun as well, personally. So yeah, pretty much those are my favorite bosses in Nioh 1 and Nioh 2. And if I would have to pick a yokai boss in Yatsu, I would pick for sure the Tengu.
You're talking about the DLC 3. Uh,
No,
Neo Tengu.
DLC one.
Neo Tengu. You're talking about,
No, no,
or
no. Sorry. Actually, I can't remember the name.
how it looks like.
The final boss of the first DLC.
Neo One or
I'm
Neo
bad
Two?
with them. Nioh 2, Nioh 2.
Ah, that's oh my, that's you're talking about the master of the Benki, Yoshitsune. Was it? Was
Yeah,
it
Shitsune. Yeah, okay.
Yoshitsune?
Oh my
Yeah,
god, I had just a brain lag of my brain.
yeah, that happens.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yoshitsune. Yeah, I love that boss fight so much.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. It feels so good, super fast. I mean, I'm a big enjoyer of the fast-paced boss fights in
yeah. That much I
action
could say.
games.
Yeah, yeah, that much I could say because you are Ninja Gaiden player, and that's actually something normal.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
enjoy when the boss fight is really with the fast rhythm of the fight, so intense, and
Mm-hmm.
Yoshitsune really delivers. It's really good in that aspect. So I love it so much. So
Mm-hmm.
personally, I absolutely will pick him as my favorite yokai boss.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, pretty much that's the
And
answer of the question.
what about the? Oh, I wanted to ask you about one more boss, but I what was it, man? Ah, if I remember, I'll just ask you. But I wanted to ask and then I just forget. What was it? Okay, the only
Maybe
thing about.
the
Hmm?
Tsukigomu you were about
Yeah,
mentioning.
exactly,
The
exactly. I
Ninja
wanted
Gaiden
to.
boss.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want. That's what I thought when you mentioned Ninja Gaiden. So
I
yeah,
read your mind.
yeah, you did. Okay, so that was it. So what do you think about that boss? Actually, that boss come right away from Ninja Gaiden, and it's actually, of course, it is called the Rasetsu, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
Ninja Gaiden.
Rosetsu,
So
yes.
what are your thoughts about that boss in general? Did you enjoy
First
that fight?
time
Mm-hmm.
I saw it, I was like, oh, no way, no way. Also, Team Ninja put a nice Easter egg where there's a trophy that you have to defeat that boss with the Hayabusa armor set. So, a Ninja
Oh,
Gaiden Easter
really?
egg.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Actually, I never got that because I never played Ninja Hayabusa set. That's actually
Ah, yeah,
interesting
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There's I got it because yeah, I play really with the Yabusa set on me, so as a lore reason. So, by the way, yeah, that boss is really so cool. And I was when I was playing the fight, I was like, wait, I remember this pattern of attacks, but it's Rosetsu from Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I
I
was
mean,
like,
they just probably they I mean they adjusted. I actually like the way they
yeah, I
adjusted
just
and
did, of
changed it
course.
because they're
Also,
yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Also, there's a secret Easter egg on that fight
Okay.
that on the side that you dodge, the boss does different pattern of attacks on melee. So if you dodge
Ah.
on the side, on the left side,
Okay.
Tsukigomo will go for a particular, a little different variant of the pattern of attacks. If you dodge on the right side, it will go exactly for the Rosetsu attack, as exactly the Rosetsu of Ninja Gaiden 2 boss.
That's
So
actually quite
yeah,
interesting. And I actually never knew about it actually or ever thought because probably I haven't played Ninja Gaiden that much. But for me, never. The funny part about that boss, what I like to do is actually whenever he actually attached to that tree, I like to shoot him with Aberrant Soldier or Fuki and
yeah,
then knock him down because that's actually a fun thing to do. But only thing that I would say that I don't like about, I mean, don't like, it's when he jumps, when he leap in the air and then jumps on the ground. That hitbox on the ground is so huge that you cannot dodge. Like with the dual swords you can because you are going to trigger Mind's Eye. But with most of the weapons, if you don't move backwards, if you try to dodge on the side, you're gonna get hit. Or it's
yeah,
actually quite a big hitbox. But
yeah,
nevertheless, it's actually quite nice boss. So really nice to design, adjusted as they said. Like they promise us that they're going to deliver Ninja Gaiden bosses or something from Ninja Gaiden DLC one. Then DLC two was related to what was the second DLC two? DLC two was related to what game? I know the DLC three was related to Dead or Alive.
Yeah,
DLC 1
DLC
was
2.
related to Ninja Gaiden. What was DLC 2 related to? I can't remember
Wait,
what.
DLC 2 was related to Ninja Gaiden. DLC 2 had the
Ah,
Runaway
yeah, you're
Party
right.
and
You're right. You're right.
Ichigo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you
right.
corrected them.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, DLC 2 was actually Ninja Gaiden. DLC 3 was Dead or Alive, but DLC 1 was what was then DLC 1?
The one with Yoshitsune.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but
So yeah,
I'm actually thinking
something.
to what game was related that, or actually it wasn't related
No,
to any
no
game.
game in particular, I guess.
Okay, then okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that explains.
Mm-mm.
And right now actually they have a much more games that actually they can pick up bosses for such ideas for DLC. For
Yeah,
example, Stranger of Paradise,
Stranger of
Wulong,
Paradise.
Rise of the Ronin. Like I mean, all these like there are actually a lot of variety actually at this very point. After what Neo 2 was released in 2019, I believe. So four or
Yes,
5 years, I think actually they have a lot. They actually made a lot of experiments and a lot of things, and I guess they have realized and they have seen what people are looking for. And I truly hope so that next year, in 2025, we are going to see some sort of announcement or perhaps get some alpha footage or something like that for Neo 3 because I really I mean it is just a shame like that we do not
well,
see any more Neo because there is a really a lot of space. I know, I mean they developed Neo 2 quite fast because there was a lot of things in Neo 1 they didn't they actually said okay, let's leave this for Neo 2 because we don't have enough space in Neo 1 because Neo 1 was already huge in terms of
yeah,
everything, and that's why they made Neo 2 so fast. And I believe for Neo 3 actually they needed much more time and ideas and so to say experience to
yeah, yeah,
work it out
absolutely.
properly. So I guess actually that will come soon, especially because
Actually,
this year sorry because this
uh,
year they haven't actually announced anything, they haven't said anything, they've been silent, and I don't know. So what did you try to say? Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah,
Actually, I think yeah, Nia 3 really will arrive. I'm not sure soon because, as you said, they are really doing some other experiments, getting some experience. That's why we had Stranger of Paradise,
yeah.
Wulong, Rise of the Ronin. But I think that actually, yeah, that currently it's not the turn of Nia 3 because I think it's first the turn of Ninja Gaiden
Yeah, you're
because you
right.
know
Actually, they said also they should actually work on Ninja Gaiden as well
yeah,
at some
it's
point.
really 10 years, I mean 11 years actually that we don't have a new Ninja Gaiden. And don't forget that Ninja Gaiden actually is the most important project for Team Ninja. It's they consider it his main franchise of that software house.
Hmm.
So having his main franchise being so silent for 10 years, I think is okay. I think they are cooking something about Ninja Gaiden. So
Yeah, I
I'm
think they also
pretty sure.
mentioned. Yeah, you might be right, absolutely. But nevertheless, regardless, like even that is welcome just to see and hear something from them. That's actually what we all
Yeah,
want.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then after Ninja Gaiden, yeah, it could be Nioh Return. I think yes.
Mm, yeah, because Dynasty Warriors, the last one, Origins. What I heard that Team Ninja was working closely with Omega, another Koei
Oh,
team.
that's why the
Yeah.
combat is so good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they work together. But actually, I heard that they work together, and actually, when I actually played the game, okay, this makes much more sense. This is much better. So
Okay, okay.
Team Ninja helped the Omega with actually making things better. And I gotta say, actually, that Dynasty Warriors right now at this point, oh my god, I'm going to definitely to buy that and play that because the game
Yeah,
looks really
same.
nice. Yeah, yeah, so
When I played the demo, oh my god, they had a blast. I was like, okay, this combat feels like a Steam Ninja helped them. Is it
yeah,
possible? Nah, it's
yeah.
just my imagination.
No, no, that's what I heard. Actually, I'm not sure who said that. Somebody mentioned that, but absolutely, yeah, it looks like that. It absolutely looks that way. So, I mean, that's normal because they developed Rise of the Ronin. They haven't worked on Rise of the Ronin for some reason any further. They haven't announced any DLCs or anything for it. So I guess they had time, or probably they focused maybe on helping the other team to develop something or polish something, so the
Yeah.
Koei can actually get some sales and make some money out of it. And I guess actually that so far this is going to be the best Dynasty Warrior ever made, because all of the other that
Yeah.
I played wasn't that interesting or good. Even the graphics looks really nice in this one,
Yeah,
I gotta
even the
say.
graphic looks so good. And you know what? Personally, I think that this could be a new engine. And
Yes.
I have seen
The,
also that a
y-
similar engine. Sorry, prego. Sorry, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. You go ahead. You're right. I was saying like, that you're right. It probably must be the new engine that they've been having, because, as I said, like it was working on a real nice graphic, quite smooth, no dips, no drops, no nothing, and it was quite interesting. I was actually quite surprised, because the last time I played Dynasty Warrior, that was really, really bad. Like I'm not gonna say bad, but it was empty open world. And this is, as you could see now, this is not open world, this is mission based, which
Yes.
is, and then in a mission you can actually choose if you want to co-op or not with these generals, which are anyway useless. And then you have a combat, and then you could see the combat is much deeper. You have also choices, different skills that you can actually put, different type of gear that you can actually
Yeah.
put there, and then it's pretty actually cool. And then you also have these abilities. I like it's like a mix of strategy, where you need to develop a good strategy, and then you need to fight again. Then Lobo fight was actually quite nice. Like, not gonna
Oh my
lie,
God.
that.
Yeah.
And then
The
burst
fight.
counter. I mean, you saw the burst counter. There was a burst counter in Dynasty Warrior. There was never burst counter, and there was a burst
Yeah.
counter in this one. So that tells you everything. So they went for a good change in a good direction, and I believe strongly actually that this game will make a nice sales when it gets
Yeah.
released. So I'm actually up for that. I'm going to support them for sure. So yeah, we'll see
Same for me.
how things turns out. But yeah, so to get back on a Neo topic, what I wanted to ask you as well about Neo regarding to that game is, what are your thoughts about the end game, Abyss versus Underworld, and the, what was the name of the depths of the Underworld? So what do you think about that?
Okay, about the end game of Neo, I have a little some little mixed feelings because I love so much the combat of Neo, but I personally don't like too much the RPG aspect because I would like to focus more on the combat. So I'm not the best and providing some good builds. I mean, I have a decent build, but what I love of Neo is that you can just care about the combat. And yeah, okay, having a little bit of more optimized build could help you to deal also with some situations. But if you are fine with the combat, if you have a good mastery of the combat, you don't even need to focus on that too much, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I love so much of Neo. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for example, I don't know, uh, someone with a perfect, well-rounded build can do some damage with its build well optimized, but with a normal build, you can just be very aggressive and do pretty much the same damage as that guy with a just good build well optimized. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I personally love. And so yeah, pretty much for dealing with the end game of Neo, you can work on the optimize your build, or just don't care about it and just go full in, full crazy, and being like, okay, let's go for this. And so yeah, about Neo 2, right? I think is more the question, right?
Yeah, yeah, there was also a question about that. So the comparison, like between the Abyss depths, and what did you like? What have you enjoyed more? Yeah, that was the
Okay,
question.
about Neo 2, I think the first 108 floors are well balanced. Pretty much,
Yeah.
they are really doable with any builds. I think that you just need to focus on just fight and don't do too much mistakes. So yeah. About the depth, you should have to a little optimize a little better your build. or just suffer for long, very very long fights.
Yeah.
And also the bosses back to back are really no jokes, so you have really to keep your
That's
focus.
absolutely right. Yeah, you die to third one, you gotta get back on the first one, and so on. So yeah,
Exactly, like Ninja Gaiden boss rush missions. So pretty much
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Okay, so we actually get into the end of this podcast, and it was actually quite nice to discuss with you about the Neo and other games, and like get in touch with everything that is going on currently and the games that are coming on. And I would definitely like to talk and chat with you in a future podcast. So once again, I would like to thank you for joining me today, and thank you for being here and taking your time for being here and then just discuss about all this. And I hope so actually that all this effort that we making will be appreciated one day, and then Team Ninja will actually appreciate this what we actually do for them. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you once again.
thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure being here, so thanks again.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, this was yet another podcast episode, and I'll see you in on the next one, which is going to be released next week. Bye.